Brock Lesnar. You hear that name and you immediately think of pure, raw dominance, right? Whether it's in a WWE ring or a UFC octagon. But you know, behind all those athletic achievements, there's a financial empire that's just as impressive. Today, we're going to break down the incredible blueprint that made him a beast, not just in the ring, but in the bank.
So let's just get right to it. $20 million. That's the estimated net worth of Brock Lesnar. I mean, think about that for a second. That number puts him in a super elite club of combat sports athletes, not just in America, but on the entire planet. And a number that big? Well, it really makes you ask the real question here. Look, it's one thing to get rich and famous in one sport. Lots of people do that. But how on earth does one guy conquer two totally different worlds and then turn that one-of-a-kind dominance into a multi-million-dollar brand? Well, that's the blueprint we're here to figure out.
To really understand the empire, we've got to go back to the very beginning. It all started with building the foundation, and that means his explosive, out-of-nowhere entry into professional wrestling.
You have to remember, before he was a sports entertainer, Lesnar was a legit NCAA Division I wrestling champion. This wasn't some made-up backstory for TV, this was a real-deal athletic pedigree. So when he stepped into that WWE ring, he had this instant authenticity that you just can't buy. The fans knew, right away, that this guy was the real thing.
And his rise wasn't just fast, it was completely historic. At just 25 years old, he became the youngest WWE champion ever. To put that into perspective, most people at 25 are just trying to figure out their career. This guy was already standing at the very top of his. And that championship belt, that was way more than just a trophy. It was a golden ticket. It instantly cemented him as a main event guy, which gave him incredible negotiating power and really set the financial stage for everything that came later. He was a made man from day one.
But here's where the story gets truly insane. Lesnar didn't just stay put. He did something almost unthinkable. He walked away from the scripted world of WWE to go test his skills in the very real, very unscripted world of the UFC. He literally set out to conquer the octagon. And he didn't just compete, he absolutely dominated. By becoming the UFC heavyweight champion, he shut down any and all doubters about his legitimacy. I mean, holding the top title in both WWE and the UFC, that's an unbelievably rare thing to do. It proved his power was 100% real. When you look at this timeline, you can see the sheer genius of his career. Step 1, become a record-breaking champ in WWE. Step 2, prove you're the baddest man on the planet by conquering the UFC. And then the final step, return to WWE, not just as a star, but as this legendary must-see special attraction. He came back a conquering hero with all the power. And this right here, this is the absolute cornerstone of his entire empire. Because he proved he could sell out arenas and draw huge pay-per-view numbers in two completely separate industries, he got leverage that almost no other athlete in the world had. He wasn't just a wrestler anymore. He was a global combat sports icon. So, with his status as a two-sport king totally cemented, Lesnar came back to WWE ready for the next phase, turning his legend into cash. This is where he and his team built the powerful and incredibly profitable brand of the Beast Incarnate.
And when you actually look at his finances, you can see it's not just built on one thing. It's a diversified machine. You've got money flowing in from his massive WWE contracts, his blockbuster UFC fights, a whole portfolio of powerful endorsements, and of course, smart personal investments. He's not just relying on one paycheck. His WWE contract is, honestly, a masterclass in using leverage. That reported $5 million base salary, that's for a very, very limited part-time schedule. But the real money, well, that comes from the fat bonuses tied to big pay-per-view events. The bigger the show, the bigger his payday. Then you add on a slice of merchandise sales, and you have a perfect formula where he works way less than almost anybody else for way more money. And that beast image is also incredibly easy to sell. It's really no surprise that brands built on strength and power, like Dymatize Nutrition, wanted to be connected to him. Even a sandwich chain like Jimmy John's sponsored him, just to project that image of raw power. And on top of all that, he has his own apparel line, Death Clutch, so he can profit directly from his own brand. It's brilliant. So this is it, right here, the Lesnar blueprint broken down into 4 simple steps. First,
You have to dominate. You have to be so good that nobody can deny you. Then, and this is key, you create scarcity. By limiting his appearances, every single time he shows up, it feels special, like a must-see event. That scarcity gives him immense leverage to command those top-tier contracts. And finally, you cash in on that larger-than-life brand with endorsements that just fit the image perfectly. It's a flawless cycle.
When you put all of these pieces together, what you get is a truly unique financial legacy. It's a career that was built just as much on brilliant business strategy as it was on pure athletic talent.
It really all boils down to this one idea. He's a financial force built from in-ring prowess and unparalleled marketability. The two things can't be separated. His dominance in the ring makes him marketable, and his marketability makes that dominance unbelievably profitable.
Ultimately, if you only take away one thing from this, it's gotta be this. The absolute key, the secret sauce to his entire financial empire, is his proven ability to sell tickets and pay-per-views for two different competing companies. That crossover appeal? That's his superpower.
And all of this leaves us with one last, really fascinating question to think about. In today's hyper-specialized world of sports, is this blueprint even repeatable? Or is Brock Lesnar a true one-of-a-kind, a financial and athletic unicorn whose path can never, ever be walked again?